Good.
The Pioneer Football Show with head coach Jerry Odom. Complete coverage of Pioneer football. 2020 hindsight with coaches and player interviews, along with the numbers behind the scoreboard. The Pioneer Football Show with Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. Now, Brian Staten.
The Tusculum Pioneers traveled to Hickory, North Carolina to take on frontrunner in the South Atlantic Conference, the Lenoir-Rhyne Bears. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Staten for the Pioneer Football Show with Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. The Pioneers traveled down to the place that Neil McGahee built, a longtime athletic director at Lenoir-Rhyne who was honored. A fireworks display as well for all the hard work and really the dedication they put not only to LR but also to the South Atlantic Conference. Not sure if it was fuel for motivation for the LR Bears, but they sure came out offensively on fire from the first play from scrimmage to the very end. However, the Pioneer defense put up a really good fight. Second half, I guess we figured out 7 plays, probably went for almost over 300 yards.
Yep.
Kind of hurt there in the second half.
Well, we just, we didn't get it done. I mean, as far as, we talked about explosion plays would get us beat. We didn't get off the field on third down on one drive that really hurt us. They threw the ball. I told you before the game that I was worried about their passing game. The kid's accurate, and what they do offensively makes you get a lot of one-on-one opportunities, and they hit us on 2 big plays, really 3 big plays in the passing game, and then they hit us on a counter that we should have been able to play. We just misplayed it in that first play of the game. We got misaligned, and so they're set. When you have 7 plays for almost 300 yards or right at it, you're probably not going to win.
Yeah.
And we didn't. And we got to play better. And we can't do anything about this one. We just got to keep getting better and keep working hard. And I'm super proud of the kids. Their effort was outstanding. They played really, really hard. Now we weren't as composed as I'd like us to be. I've got to do a better job of that. We've got to make sure we do a better job of that as a team. But the effort was good, and it's something we can build on, but we just got to make sure that we're trending in the right direction and try to find a way to win out. I mean, I think we can win every game we have left. We just have to go play and play the way we can play.
The Tusculum Pioneers and the Lenoir Bears. Let's take a look at our offensive side of things first as you take a look at some of the highlights, and we'll start really on the very first drive for the Pioneers. A.J. Bellinger with a nice hit, nice catch. However, we get some penalties, back ourselves up. So we'll start with kind of a mistake for us as well. Maxwell Joseph hadn't played in a couple of weeks, gets in there, and the first play that he gets the opportunity to carry it, a fumble. And those are some of the little things, I think, that nagged us on Saturday.
Well, Max is, we got to get him back going. Obviously, we try to run the power. He gets hit pretty good, puts the ball on the ground. We've got to take care of the football, especially in a hostile environment. And we need Max to play well. Sometimes when he fumbles, he struggles, because he really is passionate, doesn't want to feel like he's let the team down. So I think he's got to learn to get past that. But then we were able to come back and make a couple plays with the bootlegs and things like that. But we bought the wrong guy. Shippy gets hurt, right? And that hurt us. That was hurting us pretty good. And they were bringing their safeties down in there and affecting the running game. They did a good job up front. I mean, we had some opportunities. We caught some really good balls, then we dropped some balls, and then we missed some throws, obviously. We just got to be better as a whole on offense. And again, it's my fault. It begins and ends with me. I got to make sure we get it right, get our execution going, and I'm gonna work like heck to do that this week.
All right, let's talk about the running game, because a couple of weeks ago, nice job. Jordan Shippey ran off for a school record, and then Gamillion also over 100 yards. You talked about their safeties. They played downhill the entire game. They really shut down the run. Even when it looked like we were open, it seemed as if they were able to negate that to about a 2 or 3 yard.
Yeah, they did, and they whooped us up front a little bit. I give them all the credit in the world. I mean, they deserve to win the game. When you make more plays, you play better up front, you're going to win the football game. And we fought. It was 14-10, almost, right there toward the end of the third quarter when we started giving up a couple big plays. Had a chance to score, to make it would have been maybe 21-17 at the time or 28-17 to get us back in the game. We went for it on fourth down. Safety made a great play. We didn't, weren't able to catch that one. But, we just got to keep working and keep trying to get better.
Pistone in the contest, 11 completions, 217 yards, did have the 1 pick. maybe tip ball as well. But A.J. Bellinger is emerging as maybe that go-to receiver.
A.J.'s played well. He didn't play much in the first game. We got him in their second game. The thing that I like about that kid is he blocks well. He plays hard. He's gotten good grades so far since he's been here. He shows up every day, doesn't say a whole lot, and just goes to work. And that's really what we need. We need more of those type of guys.
It's a Pioneer offense that obviously struggled just a little bit there in that second half. Just couldn't move the football. A.J. Bellinger was kind of that bright spot. You did come up with the big play capability, though, in this contest. 49-yard reception, 44-yard reception, Torrey Ponder, Brian Burnett,
right.
In the contest. So it's not like we're not taking our shots down the field. We're just not effectively doing that consistently.
Yeah, right. We got to find a way to get those guys open a little bit more and get more balls to them too. And, keep spreading the ball around and taking our shots. But we got to make those plays. Those 50-50 balls and things of that nature, we got to try to come up with those. And we got to protect better. I thought in the second half we didn't protect as well as we have been. They ran some twists that they see every day from us. And that we didn't handle very good. So really, offensive line-wise, we got to play probably better as a whole.
Right. Pistone, obviously 11 of 36 in that contest, and I think that does it justice as well. We're talking about some drop passes as well. Yeah. I think, though, also the poise, the composure, a little bit has to do with some of the offensive line that you're talking about that he's got to have. But, a lot of people are going to just look at those numbers, and I'll say, but he was still pretty accurate in the contest.
He had some ones he was very accurate on and some other ones he missed, obviously. We just got to get something going on offense. I don't really have an answer right now. I know that we have to kind of go back to the drawing board, maybe be a little more creative, see what we can do with that, make sure our guys can do it. Obviously, we got to coach it better. I got to coach it better. Everybody has to coach it better, and they got to execute better, and really that's what it comes down to. We can still win out. I really believe that, but we've got to get this thing going, and we got to become consistent on offense week in and week out.
We're taking a look at some of the defensive highlights right now. Is this right from the very start for the LR Bears? This is what they do, that bare bone wing tee style, and they just we misaligned.
Yeah, we did. We had a backer in a corner outside the crease right there, and it should have been just the corner, but the corner didn't tell the Sam that he was over there, so we didn't bump it back inside, and we were down a guy, and they hit us on it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And then, they tried us deep a ton of times. Yes. And you do. Usually when you hold a guy 7 of 23, you're thinking that's pretty good, but then he throws for 169 yards, and then that's not too good. When three of the 7 completions were for touchdowns, that tells you how difficult this can be. And we've got to get off the field on third down. They had one drive, I think 13 plays, that we had 3 chances to get them off the field. We didn't do it. And, I got to call a better game. We got to execute it better. Again, it begins and ends with me. I run that side of the ball, and I got to do a better job of game planning and getting my kids to execute better. Well,
one of the things that you're probably not giving yourself some credit for, your team responded after giving up the long touchdown to start the contest. You were able to come out 3 consecutive 3-and-outs, and then they were able to pick up a first down on that next year's, but they still weren't able to score. So you really settled into the contest.
We thought we had a good plan. No, I think we did have a good plan. But what we have to do and what they make you do is execute every single time. You can't take a play off or put a different, like we put a different guy in on the counter at our defensive end spot that hadn't been playing a whole lot, and he goes in first play and gets smoked, and all of a sudden opens up the counter wide open. And it's just things like that we can't do, but it is frustrating. There's no doubt about it. I think we're a better football team than a team that gave up 500 yards. That hadn't happened a lot around here. And really, I thought the effort was good. Nothing wrong with the effort, but our execution has to be better at every level. Our special teams effort was very good, but we have to make sure that we come out and play, hard, just that hard or harder with better execution against Mars Hill, or we'll be struggling again.
You're able to turn him over a couple of times. Leon Cunningham in the contest had his career game with 8 tackles, also an interception, and it was an incredible interception as well. Yep. We fell on a fumble. They just didn't make the mistakes. I felt like they would make a few more mistakes in the contest.
Well, they did. We had our hands on 3 other balls.
Right.
Our D tackle, who, on a twist, they throw a screen, hits him right in the hands, he drops it. D makes a great break on a play and then just can't quite come up with it. They end up scoring on that drive, and then we have one running right down the middle where D and J tip it away from each other. So, you take those 3 things, that could have been big plays because one of those could have gone to the house.
Right.
You just never know. But it's the bottom line is they made the plays. We were close to making the plays, and that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the execution. Like I said, the guys played hard. They wanted it. I didn't think we ever quit or backed up from the challenge, but we've got to play better with more composure, smarter. I think we played hard. I'm not sure how smart we played, and we've got to do that, a better job of that, and that starts with me.
Some of the special teams aspects of this game as well. Kyle Duggar was one of the top punt returners, kickoff returners, and Andrew Cantrell, 11 punts, ties the school record, also 458 yards punting in the game. 11 yards, return yards for Duggar, and I think it came all on one punt return. And Ryan McIntyre and that punt return crew with Cantrell punting the ball did an exceptional job.
We feel like we're getting better and better. We'll get challenged this week. They really come after the punter, but we do feel like we're getting better on that team. We struggled a little bit early in that first game. A lot of new people on it. We've kind of settled in. We know what we're doing. Kind of went to a different thing that I was more familiar with to help, so I could be more of a help in the game planning and things of that nature. And but I think for a freshman, Cantrell's done an outstanding job, and our kick coverage teams, all of them are taking great pride. Our kickoff team was great.
Yeah.
Our punt return, our punt coverage team was great. Our kickoff return team had two. 3 over 25 yards, 1 for almost 50. If Jay doesn't tear his ACL on a cut, he may, break it for longer. And, so it was kind of a bummer of an evening, and there's no other way to say it. Like I said, at the end of the day, when you're the head coach, you take the blame when you lose, and we didn't get it done. It's my fault, and I got to find a way to motivate better, coach better, motivate my coaches better, the whole deal. So it all comes down to me.
It's a frustrating evening, as you talked about, because potentially 3 injuries that could be season-ending. Pretty much we figured Jay Boyd, but I won't count that kid out just yet. But that's what was frustrating about it. It was one of those situations where your best are not out there on the field, and I think that was frustrating for me.
Well, when we lost Mike Gandy on that 4th and 1, and I felt like it was a chop block, and I didn't feel like it was a chop block. And they had done it to him one other time, too, that he didn't get hurt, thank goodness. Hopefully we'll get him back. He subluxed his patella. I don't know what that really, I don't know what that means for how long he's out. You lost him. D hurt his back late in the game a little bit. So that we gave it the last one. He wasn't in the game. I think he'll be okay. May not be able to practice today, but we'll have to, look and see how that goes. And, we were a little bit unfortunate. Nick Jackson tore his labrum last week in practice. We lost another D tackle to a broken foot in practice. Just freak things. Nobody did anything, but it was just complete freak things. So we lost like 4 or 5 guys on defense in the last week. So we have to take that next man up mentality and play with that same effort level, want to, and everything else as those other guys. And as long as we keep doing that, we'll be fine. And we're going to keep holding that high standard that we try to play with. Obviously, we didn't get it done last week, giving up 500 yards offense. That's something I don't think I've done since I've been here. But big plays. It's explosion plays. If you limit people to explosion plays, they'll usually self-destruct on their own. If you'll make a play, something good will happen. When you give up 2 70-yard runs, 2 65-yard passes, and a 50-yard pass in 5 plays, I don't know who you're beating. Obviously not LR on that night, and they deserve to win the game.
Bears knock off the Pioneers by a final score of 35-10. Bears try their luck against the Wolves of Newberry this Saturday, and the Pioneers will try their luck against the Lions of Mars Hill, are putting up a lot of points. We'll talk about that when the Pioneer Football Show continues right after this.
So much of life these days is rushing around from one place to another. Sometimes you just want to enjoy the journey on the way to the destination. And part of what makes it a little more enjoyable is an appreciation for the folks who help you get there. At Ingalls, we know that the people who send you on your way are the same ones who keep you coming back.
I think you should take it for a spin. Are you serious?
Ingalls. All the ingredients for family. Family.
Food's here!
What's it mean to you?
We got lunch.
To us, it means the people you care about, look out for, and love. Even if you'd never let them hear you say it.
Hey, you're eating hummus?
What's wrong with hummus?
Here at Ingalls, we have everything you need to gather around the table and give each other a hard time. Because that's what families do. Ingalls. all the ingredients for family.
And we welcome you back into the Pioneer Football Show with Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. The Pioneers travel to Mir Stadium this Saturday to take on the Mars Hill Lions. As you've already alluded to earlier this week in the radio show, it will be homecoming for the Tusculum Pioneers and the Mars Hill Lions in that contest. One guy that is doing the job right now offensively is Craig Rucker, and this is a guy last week had 221 receiving yards, 11 receptions. He's dangerous in the kick game. He's dangerous just about anywhere he lines up on the field.
Yeah, they try to get him the ball in a lot of different opportunities. They'll put him at tailback, slot, outside receiver. They move him around. We got to know where he is at all times, obviously, and they got a good running game. You know, they pound the ball with number 1, Jock Buchanan. I think he's a big-bodied guy that they kind of found 2 weeks ago against Catawba. They ran for 230 yards in Catawba. You know, their quarterback is a very athletic kid, lefty, not a super strong arm, but you know, strong enough. He's accurate. He extends plays with his feet. We got to do a good job with him in the pocket. You know, they're scoring, you know, like you said, the last 2 weeks, 38 and, you know, 50 points. And we've got to find a way to contain Rucker, but not forget about everybody else that goes along with it. You can't just focus on one guy on defense. You have to be sound in what you're doing against all of them, but then find different ways to give them different looks to try to take away Craig. And he's an outstanding football player, you know, that we have a lot of respect for. Think a lot of him, you know, I think the other thing you got to get ready for with these guys is, you know, they're like when they get into a pro style set, they'll be more pound the ball at you, play action over the top, and then they'll get in the spread and be empty and all this other things. So you got a little bit of everything, you know, for what you're dealing with these guys. And I think they do an outstanding job coaching there. We just have to go over there. We haven't played well over there. We didn't play well over there 2 years ago. I thought it was the worst game we played all year. Had a chance to win, but we didn't. But we did not play well, especially on defense. And these guys are good enough on offense. So you go over there flat. You don't play, you know, the way you can because you're coming off a loss that you were, you know, really up for or whatever. They'll beat you too, and they've won their last 2 games. They're 2-1 in the conference right now. So we've got to take one game at a time, 1 week at a time. We want to be 1-0 for this week. That's all we're worried about. 1-0 for this week, and we don't worry about anything else ahead of that. And so hopefully we can get that accomplished and try to climb back in this thing.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you, man.
He's Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. Always a tough place to play is Mir Stadium, especially for the Pioneers. They will be challenged. It is homecoming as the Pioneers will kick it off at 1:30 with the Mars Hill Lions. Join us with our coverage of the Pioneer Sports Network, beginning with our kickoff coverage at 12:30. For everyone involved with the Pioneer Sports Network, Nick Forsberg, Jim Miller, along with Dom Donnelly, he's Coach Jerry Odom. I'm Brian Staten, and until next week, go Pioneers.
The Pioneer Football Show with head coach Jerry Odom. Complete coverage of Pioneer football. 2020 hindsight with coaches and player interviews, along with the numbers behind the scoreboard. The Pioneer Football Show with Jerry Odom. A presentation of Tusculum University Athletics.